But welcome everyone back to another Seelbach review. I am Blake from Seelbach, joined by Brian. Brian, how do you think your Thanksgiving is going to go tomorrow?
I think my Thanksgiving is going to go spectacular, Blake. Thank you for asking.
Absolutely. Well, I know, and we say this every week, but this is a bigger week than I think any other week in the year. I think this is going to be the biggest 12 days of the year for Seelbach based on the calendar we're looking at. So,
Mhm.
for those of you who aren't familiar, we a couple years back, maybe this is probably the third time we've done it. We started doing a
Yep.
12 days of releases where it may be some stuff we had held back from stuff that or bottles that sold out, maybe some new barrel picks, some new releases. And the calendar just lined up. Stars aligned, calendar's perfect for it this year. December 1st falls on a Monday, and we're going to run for 12 days straight of new releases. So that just means 12 days in a
That you
row
need
of really
to,
cool bottles.
and that just means that you need to jump down below, hit that like and subscribe so you can keep up with not only just the weekly releases in general that we do here, but also so you know what's going on for the next 12 days. Because it's the first year that I think we actually knew that.
It's the first year that we don't get to like day 6 and you're like, well, what do you want to do for day 7? We've got to
Exactly.
fill out that graphic we have. But yes, all 12 days are stacked. We won't jump through all of them today. We want to keep some surprises, definitely some heavy hitters all the way through. And we kick it off with a really fun one. So I'll go ahead and introduce December 1st release. So this will be Monday. This is the Seelbach Christmas Rye. We floated it out on social media a little bit. If you are somebody who purchased an advent calendar, it's day 1 of the advent calendar. So we're going to do a live tasting Monday night for that bottle. But one I had a lot of fun with, and it comes from an idea. We were sitting at Christmas dinner last year, and I've always been the person who, on Black Friday goes and chases the Bourbon County Stouts from Goose Island or, some other annual releases. I think it's fun. It's something you do every year. And I was like, what could be a bottle that we could just release once a year? And, I'm sitting there at dinner. It's like, well, Ambrana's kind of, some people hate it, some people love it, but rye always has some of those Christmas, like wintergreen, spearmint notes. And so what we ended up with on this one, it's 7-year MGP rye, 95.5. We put, I believe it was 6 barrels into these brulee maple barrels. So essentially just it's actually ex-Canadian whiskey barrel that they take the heads off, put maple in, torch the insides to brulee the maple. So the rye whiskey went into those maple barrels. Then we dumped those barrels and put a third of the batch into Amburana, and that became the final blend. And so it's rye whiskey finished in maple and Amburana. And I think I've said this somewhere else, but I will remind Brian that he was like, "Wow, this is actually really good." So
Yes.
really excited for that release. It's a fun one, and I've always been telling people that it's a bottle you want to drink with family and friends over the holidays. And if you're sitting at your house on Christmas night and you've got your family over and you love your family, you're having a good time, it's just going to amplify that good time. If you're somebody who is with friends and family and you don't want to be there, you can go drink this bottle in the corner and you'll still have a good time. So you've got 2 paths to go down, and it's a solution for both. So I'm excited for that one.
Look, like you said, I do like this bottle in general. Plus, it's a great value bottle. Plus, if you want to think about it this way and you're with a whiskey snob, it's the naughty and nice bottle, right? So, like,
Ooh,
you got all
yeah.
the maple brulee and then Amberana, depending on I mean, it's either going to be a Christmas treat or just call it the naughty and nice bottle. Like, "Hey, you don't think you like Amberana, but wait till you try this." So,
Why did you wait
and
until, the Wednesday before the release to tell me about Naughty and Nice Batch? I mean, that's
you
marketing
didn't
gold right
ask.
there.
Look, you didn't ask. Okay, I'm full of ideas.
There's always next year. There's always a
That's right.
second batch for next year. Actually, that may go into the email now. That is good. So that is day 1 of our 12 days of whiskey. And then day 2, also a fun one. So talking about really good values of stuff getting older. We've got an OKI Single Barrel Rye that is 9 years old. Yep, there it is. There's the bottle.
Hmm.
And most everyone's probably familiar with OKI at this point. We've done a bunch of different releases from them over the years. the ryes always the higher age stuff always does well, but the ryes I think do really well. So it's fun to kind of start with 2 ryes. And did you get a chance to try this one yet?
Yeah, I
know
mean,
we
I picked it. This
a
is
while back.
I was actually trying to look over here. You know, one of the things I like about this is that for a bit of time, we've been releasing much more older ryes from OKI or from Nashville or Bella Bedford, and there's a place for those ryes. I like those, but I think there's also something to be said for this age range too. Right before it hits 10 years old, I think it's coming into a lot. So this one, I think, has really nice mouthfeel, and it, compared to the other samples that I tried, I feel like it accentuates the oak more, but it's not, 11, 12, 13 years old to where it's like starting to get on the more raw and more green side of that oak. So pronounced oak, really nice citrus note as well. I think this will just be a nice, this was one that I saw and I'm like, hey, I don't think that we've had a space for this. I normally had filled this type of spot with some tumbling dice ryes in previous years. People know that I've been, I'm a really big fan when we bring out those tumbling dice ryes, and we don't have one on the lineup right now. So consider this kind of filling that spot for that kind of pop, but oaky, just really enjoyable rye.
I was gonna say, speaking of tumbling dice, I've got a box right here, so there may be there may be some coming. They've got some more
Christmas
stuff,
miracle.
10-year. But yeah, like Brian said, I think this is just for $60 for a 9-year cash strength rye. Like, it's an incredible deal. It's really good whiskey. So excited to have them back in the lineup.
That's a crazy price. That might be one of our best valued bottles that we're going to end up having on the site for that age range.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it wasn't a huge barrel, which you kind of hate to see, but
140
we're
bottles, I
starting
think.
to see more and more of that, which is really great. Like, if you're a drinker, no better time to be alive than the next 2 to 3 years in bourbon and whiskey. So
For sure.
that makes it fun. Next up, day 3 of the 12 days of Seelbach's. So the ASW Fiddler Encore cigar batch is 7-year, 9-month bourbon. And then that blend is finished in Jamaican rum, maple syrup, tawny port, white port, and Amburana. Amburana for 5 days, which it is very funny to see because, I've been talking with Chad and them over there for this cigar batch. It's been coming for a while. And some of you may remember the Seelbach Humidor blend. I think we did like 3 days in Amburana, and we both arrived at the same place with how much Amburana to use in a cigar blend, but we arrived there separately. So it is kind of funny to see that at times, but another great product. All those different finishes. I do really like the idea of having some of that Jamaican rum. I think it just brings out a little more funkiness. That works well with the 2 different types of port, and it's still in the same price range as most ASWs. It's around $90. It is their wheated bourbon with the 45% wheat in the mash bill. So just another fun one, another one that's great drinking for the holidays, cold weather, all of that stuff. So
They really took Google SEO and they said bet. I mean, it's 7 to 9 years old. Toasted, all those finishes. It's like, I mean, all the buzzwords are on this product page. So I think Google's going to be pointing all things to this ASW cigar batch for the next couple months.
It's going to be pulling every keyword searched over the
Yes.
Christmas holidays of, oh, I want port, cool, Encore. Okay, I want Jamaican rum, cool, Encore. But yeah, their stuff's always great. We've done some fantastic picks from them over the past year, so it's just great to kind of end the year on a high note with this cigar batch. Excited to have it. And then let's see, for the fourth day of Christmas, we have another favorite amongst the show, amongst Seelbach's customers, all the above, which is a Pursuit Double Oak Bourbon. This is a 2-barrel blend of bourbon, one that you did live and in person at the studio and Pursuit facilities.
That's
and tell us how that went down, because I think there's a little confusion at first on what we were going to blend. And
I wasn't going to get into it, but okay.
Okay, well,
no,
no,
it's fine.
that's the behind the scenes that the people want, Brian.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I think that year, I don't think it was the year before that. I think it was last year. We started when we came down to some of these flavors, and because of Pursuit's way that they do this, where they have the different kind of stave profiles which alter the flavors in different ways, we were tasting through barrels, and I think we kind of just asked the question, can we blend two barrels together for like a truer like flavor profile, right? And that was met with really how am I trying to say? That was well received.
With arms wide open in the words.
That's right.
Creed.
With arms wide open. So it was well received. We came back to it with a rye. We may have a couple of bottles left of that. It'll probably be featured with this email too for the double oak rye. But we're back with another double oak bourbon. As we're tasting through, folks who haven't blended with me or done picks with me before, which is probably a lot of you, I just kind of get really down to it. And I just want something that's really, really delicious and really tasty. And I'm a little bit picky. I'm sorry, but I just, I want to find stuff that's really.
I'm just glad he admitted it. I'm just glad he admitted it live on screen.
All right, well, and my picking experiences are done,
so
guys.
At Seelbach because you are picky, and it's about getting to the best product.
And we made a blend that was just, it was incredible. And as we're getting ready to put a bow on it, I'm like, why does this barrel say it's a rye? And come to find out, it ended up being a boo rye. There was a rye that had just a lot of sweeter tendencies. It made a really, really delicious blend. We kept beating other combos that we worked with. And he's like, look, we can't do it. So
we're not submitting cola during the TTB shutdown.
Exactly.
And a new label and
so I went back to try and find something that replaced that component in a really similar way. And I think I found a combo that really did what it needed to do there. And it's just a really, really tasty double oak bourbon blend. I like to find stuff that kind of leans into what the double oak profile does, but I'm not that big butterscotch bomb type fan, so I try and look for a little bit more oak presence, but also really good sweetness. And I think fans of double oak bourbon are going to be really, really happy with this next blend that we put out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I haven't tried it yet, but we've done either a single barrel or maybe it was in the blend before with some of those tobacco, American oak, toasted barrels. And those are probably some of my favorite. Obviously, we're close with the Pursuit guys, so I hate to be too complimentary to them. But really, what they're doing with the double oaking program is probably some of the best in the spirits world right now. You get the blend of Bardstown, Tennessee, and Finger Lakes. Then they go and double oak it, and it's just such like a rich and complex bourbon. By the end of it, it's some of my favorite stuff. So I am glad we got this one into the 12 days and excited to see it get released. So then to the 5th day of our 12 days of Seelbach, we've got a new release from Father Time. Most of you probably know Father Time. It's comedian Jim Gaffigan and his business partner Stu Pollard. Jim's kind of been everywhere right now. He's got, he did his special at Old Forester. He has a new special coming out very soon, and I saw him on the Rich Eisen show yesterday. And it is always fun. Like I've said it before, but Jim is truly a bourbon guy, and he's on these, huge shows, mainstream publications and everything else, and he's talking about bourbon. He's talking about the bourbon community. So it is always great to see him, just pushing everything even more public into a new audience. So love seeing that. So this is a new release. It's not a Father Time release, and I'm not sure. I think we can say some of these details.
I think maybe we just keep this one. Yeah, but I think the other details, maybe we just keep this a little Christmas surprise. I mean, we've given a lot of info
Christmas
away
surprise.
already.
Yeah,
let's leave this one as a little surprise for the folks.
We'll let Santa Jim just roll it out.
That's right.
When he's ready.
I will say I was. I'll go ahead and throw this out here because I think it's fine. Last night I was trying to go through more scripts for additional Bikey's Blue content, and I was like, man, I wonder when Jim's back next. I doubt he would do it with me, but how funny would it be if I'm doing another one of my interview things with the corn, And all of a sudden the camera pans over to Jim Gaffigan. He's like, these jokes aren't very funny. And I'm like, well, no one asked your opinion, Jim. And then like it goes back to him and he just looks like all like this. And I'm like, Jim, look, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. That was mean. That was harsh of me. It's a very Zach Galifianakis type of interaction. I think it would make for a very funny video.
That would actually be hilarious. Now I feel like we need to try to make that happen.
So Jim, if you're watching this, please, next time you're in Louisville, can we film this?
Can we make this happen? So cool. Excited for that one. More details to come, and just another great release from the crew over at Father Time. And then I'll probably make this the last one that we tease, since going into the 7th day will technically be next week, and we'll announce that there. But day 6 is going to be from Starlight Distillery. So some of you may remember, probably a couple months ago, we did a blueberry liqueur finished bourbon, and I mean, this stuff, it's one of my favorites, and I've mentioned before, I like sweeter. I like, that more indulgent profile at times. There's a time and place for everything, but cold weather, you're sitting outside by a fire, you've got something like this blueberry finished port bourbon, there's enough proof. It cuts through, but it's just very like velvety, chocolatey mouth feel and super tasty. So we're doing another barrel of that, as well as more of their honey finish. So the honey finished sold out for us a little while back. We talked with Starlight. They were great about getting us another allocation we could do for the 12 days of whiskey, or 12 days of Seelbach. And so it's going to be a two-parter coming Saturday, December 6th.
Yep, it's going to be a fun one. These blueberries, I mean, it's not even the first year we did this. I mean, the first time that we did one of these blueberry finished, I think it was first or second in my finished whiskey of the year list. I believe that was 2 years ago, just because it's such a fun profile to come to. We did one again, I believe you said earlier this year, and the profile was shifted a little bit differently. Let me go ahead and taste real quick. But this one, I feel, is either it's truer to the flavor profile of the first one, or like an interesting marriage of the two. And it's one of those ones where I think sometimes I'm surprised that people go bananas for it, but it just has such a great flavor profile. And it's true though, like people have loved when we've put these out. They've done really, really well.
Bourbon. Why would you not love it?
It's just such a fun flavor. I mean, Starlight does they do a ton of finishes, and they do them really well, and it's just so fun. It's so flavorful.
Well, and talking from a craft perspective, and just like what we're trying to highlight and showcase on Seelbach with the blueberry port, you've got blueberries that they grew on their farm. They make it into a port liqueur. I know there's some changes on the TTB side of what they can call it, but they make it into the liqueur. They put it in a barrel, they age it on site, they dump that, bottle the blueberry port liqueur, then bourbon that they made on that same site, a lot of the grains coming from their farm then goes into that barrel and ages as the blueberry finished bourbon. It can't get more grained or fruit to glass than that. And same with the honey. You went to the beehives, didn't you, at one point? And
yep.
They're making the honey, or the bees are making the honey, but they live at Starlight and making the honey.
Yeah, they're on the payroll at Starlight. Yep,
they're on the payroll at Starlight. And
well, it's the same thing too with their peach whiskey, with the blackberry whiskey, and why they've been so widely popular is because they're not just an added flavor like Crown or one of these other places. I mean, like they are, farm infused, if you will, want to call it something like that. Trademarked by Brian.
Infused. Is that TM?
Trademarked by Brian. Yep, trademarked by Brian Bikey, Abandoned Coffee Inc. This is whatever. Yeah, I think that's just one of the things that they have as like an arm above, and it keeps it more, true to form. And what they call, I don't know if that's what they call their estate cask series. That's at least what's on here.
I mean,
or maybe that's
Starlight, guys, if you're listening it, we love everything, but let's change estate cask series to farm infused.
Farm infused.
we only just want, one case for free from each farm infused release, and that's the only payment we need.
Look, I'm leaving this with you to take care of legal after this video.
Yeah, yeah,
Farm infused, get that on the books.
yeah. Let's make that happen. But yeah, no, I mean, we love what they're doing, and we didn't even mention it yet, but their Mizunara just got named one of the best bourbons of the year by Food and Wine Magazine, and has just been on a tear the past week. I mean, it's a great release. We've loved it. And then all of a sudden it gets a splash, and it's like, how do I get it? I need a bottle. You're sold out. So we are continually getting more and more of that in. And that's the great part, is like, you see brands that you love, you've been a part of for a long time, and then they get this recognition, and then it's just like, putting a match to gasoline. And it feels like that's where Starlight is right now. So
that's a packed week.
That's 6 days in a row of nonstop releases. So
we don't stop there. We just do for today.
We do for today. More updates and teasers to come over the following week. But yeah, thank you all for joining us. Really excited for these 12 days. Even more excited how it lined up, starting on a Monday. But I think we've got one of the craziest lineups of 12 days we've ever released on Seelbach. So should be fun. Brian, as always, thanks for joining me, and we will see everyone next week.
Cheers, everybody.